Tell me when, guys.
We're rolling. Hit the house lights. Hit the house lights. Quick. 2, 1.
George, according to the press on your new album, you've reached a new plateau in your career. How is this a new plateau?
Well, I don't know. I think that after experimenting with the vocals for over the past few years, leaning a little bit towards them, so to speak, I have improved my techniques, or my vocal technique. And working with the young producers today, which have a completely different concept than, say, 7 or 8 years ago, has really helped me to come more into the mainstream of the record buyers today, or what they're accepting and what the program directors are programming.
In Let's Do It Again, you sing as well as play guitar. Are you comfortable with singing?
I'm very comfortable with singing. That was my first love, and I recorded when I was 10 years old as an R&B and pop singer. My guitar fame did not come until after I was 19 years old and started traveling around the country with brother Jack McDuff, the organist, and then later segueing into my own band and so forth and so on. And of course, Breezin brought all of those elements together. And after winning Record of the Year with This Masquerade, I had a brand new career as a vocalist and guitar player.
But even so, when people think of George Benson, they think of a guitarist, not a vocalist. Does that bother you?
No, because I think that the guitar style is probably more easier to recognize than my vocal approaches. I have several different voices that I use when I record, depending on the material. But the guitar would be harder to change in that regard. And then there was something that I had started developing over the years, and once you've gotten into that, when you put that many years into it, you recognize it right away. So if it's good, I'm glad that there's someone who likes it.
Is it true that there's a bit of a controversy about this album? Your jazz fans think there are too many vocals. Your vocal fans think there's too much guitar.
It is amazing that the old cliche that you can't make everyone happy is exactly true in my case. But, I stopped in the middle of this album to record an album with Earl Klugh called Collaboration. And it was a very, very successful album. It's still selling. And I thought that would, make my guitar fans happy. But some have found fault in that. Well, it's not a jazz album, George, so I don't think I really got the benefit that I thought I would get by doing the album. Although other fans who just love us just for being who we are, and who just like the environment of the music or the way that makes them feel, they're very happy with the album. And that's ultimately what we're trying to accomplish.
You say you can't make everyone happy. Are you happy with this album?
I'm very happy for what it is. I put a lot of energy into it. I hired the best young producers I could find who came up with some wonderful material, and I'm very happy the way it came out. When I hear what is in the album, and I'm my biggest critic, it's hard for me to get pleased about anything I've done, But after getting away from it for a while and coming back to it, I'm very pleased at what happened.
This is your 10th album for Warner Brothers Records. Is it your best work to date?
I wouldn't know that. It'll take years for me to answer that question, because I look back at things that I didn't think were so good, and they turn out to be things that I'm very proud of. The accomplishments that they have made and the Grammy Awards that they've won for us over the years has given us the kind of image that anyone could be proud of.
In the video, Let's Do It Again, you have a lot of lovely ladies in it with you. That must have been a rough one to shoot.
Great fun, because each one of them had a tremendous personality. They did not overdo it, which is the thing I worried about. But they were very pretty, but they had personality in their putting on the video. And it was a great joy for me, because we were on the French Riviera, and everything just seemed to work so perfectly.
Do you feel comfortable in front of the camera?
I'm very comfortable now that I started working on how I should be perceived by my audience, because after seeing a few bad videos, you begin to become self-conscious of how how the people see you. So yes, after seeing the video back, I really like it very much.
What type of an impression will the audience get after seeing this video about you, and what type of a person you are?
Well, I hope it's a lighthearted, entertaining image that we have, because I'm not really out to prove anything. Just to make people glad that they tuned in on this particular day or that particular moment, and were satisfied, and it made them feel good about what they saw.
I understand you have an outrageous tour schedule ahead of you. Do you like touring? Do you like life on the road, going from city to city?
The hardest part is to leave my family, you know. But once you're out there, it's like anything. It's like a person going to work. You know, you hate getting up and you hate taking that subway ride or bus ride or car ride. But once you get there, you know, hey, it was absolutely necessary. This is what the world is all about. And so you continue, you know, it's just a routine. But it doesn't bother me one way or the other.
Now, I'm sure when the people come to see you, they came to see you, to hear you sing, to see you play your guitar, hear you play your guitar. Have you ever had an audience that was less than appreciative of your music?
The hardest thing that I have ever done, and that I do from night to night, is to try to figure out who is in my audience. I think I figured it out now. The thing that helped me was I would be invited to play at jazz concerts. You know, I mean, they said jazz, but yet when I went there, they had other artists on the show who were not jazz artists, and they wanted me to play jazz while the other artists played what they wanted. And so I played the jazz, and I was very dissatisfied about the response I was getting. And then I found out why. Because not everyone at a jazz concert is a jazz lover. They come, you know, they're interested, but they already know what it is I do. And you can imagine me doing a show without doing on Broadway. Forget it. Nobody wants to see me do a show without doing on Broadway. And when I left that out, I became the subject of all kind of ridicule. So I learned something from that, and today I will never make that mistake again.
Are jazz fans hard to please? True jazz fans, are they pretty hard to please?
No, I don't think so. I think when they are getting what they want from their audience, then they're like every other audience, you know. They're happy and glad to be in the environment of an artist, no matter what it is he does. My comment a while ago was about persons who are not necessarily jazz fans. They might like jazz, but they also like other things, and they might like other things even better. And since I am capable of doing those things and doing them relatively well, they know that, and that's where the rub comes in. So I have to be very careful at how I present myself at any concert, no matter what the title of it is, because it's just a title or a name.
Let me ask you something. I mean, you're out promoting a new album now, but down the line, when your recording career is over, so to speak, are you going to keep on performing, or are you going to lay back and retire and just spend time with the family?
Oh, it sounds so attractive to lay back and retire, but you know, I tried that a few years ago, and my fans kept saying, "Come on, man, you can't do that," you know. And I moved to Hawaii, and I had a great life for 4 years on the island of Maui, and it was like heaven. But I had to come back out and to see what was going on and to respond to the many requests we had from all over the world to do some more touring. And I'm kind of glad, because I get a chance to see people from a different perspective and to see people differently than I've seen them before, and to pick up new fans. And it's just a great life for me, to tell you the truth.
What was it like for you to get back into the business, so to speak, after 4 years? Was it a harsh reality that the times have changed a bit?
The world moves on. It continues to surprise us. You can have a person come from out of the hills of Mississippi who will change the whole face of the planet with a concept or a song that just has such a great impact on its audience, to other people begin to emulate it because they want to get some of that, you know, whatever it is that it brings in. So that's the interesting thing about music, that that a person can become somebody overnight, such as in the case of Whitney Houston, the best example I can think of. Now, she's not just somebody now, don't get me wrong. She has a tremendous talent, and but the point is taken there, is well taken, that it can happen. And if you don't keep up with that, and if you don't know that that can happen, then you're in a disadvantaged position.
They say the key record buying public is from, say, 14 to 25. Now, most jazz fans are older than that. Have you ever tried to appeal to that younger audience that might be more into the Whitney Houston or Run DMC or something like that?
Well, all the time, because if you don't recognize them they won't recognize you. And of course, our audiences, there's a new audience every 3 or 4 years of people who were in high school just a couple of years ago, and now they are on their own. They're beginning to mature, and hopefully they'll grow into a much more mature concept. But will you be there when they reach that age, where they can appreciate music that has a little more sophistication? So there is a challenge there, but I like that challenge, and I'm always reaching for that. That's why in this case I went back and got young producers, hoping to grasp some of that audience, and yet to tie it into the kind of things that I've been doing, trying to add a certain amount of sophistication to the music to help it give it some class, hopefully.
Is it exciting being in the studio with young producers, new, fresh blood?
It's very difficult because they think so different, than you do. Their concepts are based on purely their own ideas, and so I have to find a way to interlock the two to make it work. And so there's the challenge. But it is one that I enjoy doing, and especially when they come up with a great song, which they normally do. They come up with something that, it's out of the clear blue sky, and I said, now how can I approach this song with all of the taboos that have been given me over the years? And that is the challenge, and in this album, Twice the Love, that we have out, we've been able to meet the challenge.
Let me ask you, I didn't see this, but last night you were on Carson, and I understand that he brought up the fact that you were a Jehovah's Witness and that you go out and witness to people. Tell me about an experience that you had. I understand you told a story last night on the show.
Oh yeah, well, it's and of course, the most serious matter there is our lives, and that's the reason why we go door to door and knock on people's doors and try to talk to them about God's kingdom, because their lives are at stake. But occasionally we'll come up upon a guy who is really not interested at all, but he recognizes me, and he'll say, George Benson, one of my favorite artists, and he'll even try to get me to sign something, and hopefully I'll sign one of our watchtowers, and that'll cause him to maybe read it later. But he'll say, I love your music. I don't like your religion, but I like your music. And we know that could be very temporary, and he may change his mind, but that happens to me occasionally.
Okay, thank you very much, George, and good luck with the album.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye. Come back to Nashville.
Oh, I certainly will, man.